Okay, so I, 21-year-old female, got some absolutely shitty news yesterday evening after my partner, 25 years old, and I returned from our little vacation. Yesterday evening, I asked for advice regarding processing it and the legal side, but now that it's had more time to compute, I'm thinking about the moral side, and I'm concerned about how I plan to act. Our landlord, in her 40s, female, lives in the house with us and owns it. We have the bottom floor as our apartment, and she has the top floor with her partner, in his 40s, male. When we got home yesterday afternoon, she came down to tell us that her parents, gender unknown, are in very bad shape medically. One has dementia and needs round-the-clock care, essentially, and the other has a terminal illness and is in hospice care. They live in a house that has 2 roads out, but one consists of a damaged bridge that the city won't pay to fix, and the other is a logging road that won't be plowed in the winter. So their parents need to be out of that house and moved into somewhere else by December 1st. The landlord told us she has been calling every assisted living facility she can, but so far she hasn't had luck finding a place for her parents. She said if she can't find somewhere in the next few weeks, my partner and I will need to move out so that her parents can move in. She said the latest we'll know by is November 1st, but obviously that is still short notice, and there is almost no vacancy anywhere in our area. On top of that, we only just moved in, August 1st, and I moved over 1,000 miles away from home. Partner and I signed this lease mid-July, and I just secured a new job last week, and we were looking forward to staying at least to the end of our 1-year lease, if not renewing. Honestly, this apartment is perfect for us. We're already in love with it and have spent money on some small renter-friendly renovations, and we have it fully furnished now. We're almost completely unpacked, and I was just about to finally sort my wardrobe. Now we're stressed, and my partner doesn't even want to finish unpacking, since the landlord said there's a roughly 30% chance at this point that she will need us to give up the space to her parents. I understand she's in a tight spot, but I'm already here and invested, and I have a lease. I want to stand my ground and have been looking into resources in case it comes to that. But would I be an idiot if I did? Edit. There is a section in the lease regarding eviction. It states the landlord may evict tenants for failure to pay rent, engaging in illegal activities, or failing to comply with terms of the lease. No pets, no subletting, no permanent renovation. That is all. There is nothing in the lease regarding breaking it or the penalties thereof. Comment 1. Not the idiot. If you are legally allowed to stay, then stay. You can always try negotiating and getting the landlords to help with moving expenses, finding a new place, future rental assistance, and reimbursement for upgrades. Basically, your landlords knew, or should have known, of their parents' health issues and still chose to rent to you 1 month ago. Their lack of preparation should not force you to upend your life and career. There are plenty of free medical, social work, state, and federal resources that can assist them in this situation. I'd pay attention to the exact wording of what they send you should you agree to break the lease. While unlikely, there is a small possibility that they are merely using this as a tactic to get you out of the unit, either to increase rent or because they don't like you. Comment 2. It depends where you live. If I'm not mistaken, in LA, a landlord property owner can evict a tenant if a family member needs to move in. So essentially, depending where you live, you may not have a choice. Edit. You're in Vermont, so while the above doesn't apply, the landlord only has to give you notice of what's happening, and they can terminate the lease agreement. Try our legal, but as I understand it, you don't have any legal ground to stand on. You're the idiot if you try to force the issue. I doubt your landlord wants this outcome, but T happens, and she is already in a terrible situation. If you drag this out in court or something, good luck finding another place with an eviction and all of this on your record. Comment 3. You're the idiot. Ask for moving costs, security deposit back, and 2 months' money equal to market rate rent, aka FU inconvenience money to vacate. Then be a decent human being and move out. Yeah, it sucks, but you're being an idiot. Your landlord's parents have dementia and terminal illness, She's going to not renew the lease anyway in a year, and she's going to hate you every step of the rest of the lease duration. You're going to have to move out anyway. Make the separation affordable enough for your inconvenience, and then stop being an idiot. Now, for the next story. My friend went down this weird paranormal rabbit hole 10 years ago. It started after she read about a real case where some guy was with friends, his friends went missing for good, and the guy told the police that he saw a 10-foot-tall green monster from some Hanna-Barbera cartoon eat them one after another. The guy was a teenager at the time, and it's a pretty popular case in paranormal communities. Apparently, the guy stuck to his story for the rest of his life and had full-on mental breakdowns whenever people told him the character isn't real. This caused her to go down this rabbit hole concerning sightings of fictional characters like Slender Man, John Constantine, Pokemon, Santa Claus, and others. I remember her telling me about a sighting she read about that involved Donald Duck appearing in some kid's room, except he wasn't friendly like he is in the cartoons, but demonic. She believes that fictional characters are similar to the UAP phenomenon. She believes in the multiverse theory and that fictional characters are real in other dimensions and sometimes visit ours. Basically, they're interdimensional aliens. She told me that some people in Congress think UAPs could be interdimensional, and she believes this helps validate her theory. Whenever she watches a movie or reads a book that involves a bunch of innocent characters dying, she talks about it in a way like she read about real people in the news dying horrific deaths. I remember when she watched some horror movie where every character dies in the end, and she seemed depressed about it for a few days. I told her that isn't normal, and it sounds like she could have a mental illness of some kind and to get help for it. She just kept telling me that I don't understand, and I can believe what I want. Am I the idiot? Now, for the next story. We have fought countless times about the legitimacy of giants having existed in reality, aka a conspiracy theory. Personally, I don't care if they did or didn't, but he takes my indifference as a slight against his intelligence and opinions. This has caused several fights, one of which we're actively having on the phone, typing this as he rants. Obviously, I've tuned him out and will just let him mansplain until he tires himself out. Is that selfish? Should I care more about his beliefs, even if I think they're irrelevant? In the past, he's expressed feeling dismissed and undervalued. I feel like he's getting too worked up over trivial things, when in reality, I'd love to have such spirited debates over current events, things we could actually, theoretically, impact instead of giants. The action I took was threatening him with, if he brought up giants again, I would not speak to him for 72 hours. I know, very childish, but I'm truly at a loss for how to better communicate that I am not open to discussing this further. Happy to provide more context if needed. At a loss for how to get over this blemish in our otherwise pretty great relationship. And Reddit was my last hope. Apologies in advance for any newbie energy. Now here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Honestly, I love my husband. But if he started telling me seriously that Bigfoot is real and he believes in the impact of aliens on the history of humanity, I would divorce and cut contact. Conspiracy theorists are nut jobs and huge red flags, and it would be an insult to my own intelligence to even entertain such BS. If my husband believed in it, I would lose too much respect to be able to say I love him anymore. If your boyfriend is talking about actual giants like creatures separate from the human race and not just really tall prehistoric humans, then I see it as no different than believing in Bigfoot. Comment 2. Based on additional comments, I'm tentatively saying, not the idiot. If it's this one topic that he keeps bringing up to debate and you're just not into it, that's fine. And he shouldn't keep trying to debate you on it if you've politely communicated disinterest. If you act uninterested in more topics or just ignore his interests, then that's another story, but I can't imagine wanting to talk about the possibility of giants more than like twice. Like is dude talking David and Goliath, or like people who had genetic anomalies that resulted in them being like female 8 tall? Comment 3. No idiots here. Although if he keeps bringing up a topic you have no interest in, he might be veering in that direction. Are you his only outlet for this? Does he have anyone else at all to discuss this with? Why is he so invested in talking about it at all? Is it just rehashing the same thing over and over again? Or does he somehow have new information? Now, for the next story. So here is the gist of what caused this. About 12 years ago, when I was 15 years old, my parents got divorced due to my mother's infidelity. I didn't really take a side during their divorce, as neither were really good parents or a good husband and wife. I haven't really been in contact with either of them that much after the divorce, since they sort of shipped me off to boarding school when they split up, so I would be as close as possible to each of them physically. All of my other siblings blamed my mom for the divorce and stayed with my dad. So a couple of months ago, my mom passed away and left behind my 12-year-old half-sister. Since she had nowhere else to go, and since my other siblings wanted nothing to do with her, I adopted her. When my father and siblings heard of this, they started to berate me over call and blow up my phone with messages about, "How could you take in the daughter of that woman after what she did?" and that kind of stuff. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Frankly, I think you have approached this in a very mature, compassionate, and above all, admirable way. Becoming a parent to a child is extremely difficult under the best of circumstances. Please make sure you get your half-sibling into therapy. She just lost her mom and learned that most of her family wants nothing to do with her, and either of those will hurt, and both together will really devastate a person. As far as your family goes, feel free to use their beliefs, like their religious beliefs, to shame them. How they are acting towards you and this girl is really vile, and you should remind them of their lack of charity, lack of humanity, and general lack of character for condemning the child for the sins of the parent. Comment 2. Not the idiot one. This is your family. You have every right to have a relationship with them. 2. This is a 12-year-old child who is in no way responsible for your mother's infidelity. 3. Your mother was still your mother in spite of being unfaithful 12 years ago. They have no business gatekeeping your feelings or relationship with her in the first place. Your father and siblings seem to lack some basic human compassion. I am glad you have more, and hopefully that reflects itself in the home you provide your sister. Comment 3. Because the daughter is not at fault for the actions of her parents. They can be hurt about you taking in your sister, but at the end of the day, that's not their problem. Your sister is a victim, just like the others are too. Sorry for the current problems you're in, OP. You're a good sister, and not the idiot. Now, for the next story. I, 31-year-old female, am getting married at the end of the month to my fiancé. I have 5 bridesmaids, one of whom, 25-year-old female, has been missing in action throughout the entire wedding planning process. I really struggled between asking her or my sister to be in the bridal party. We used to be extremely close, but have drifted apart since she met her partner. But in the end, I chose her as my sister, and I are not super close due to a 9-year age gap and living 12 hours apart. She found out she was pregnant in April, so I was trying to be understanding, knowing that she was probably very overwhelmed and excited for her own journey. Then she and her boyfriend decided to get married and planned their own micro-wedding in 2 months. This is fine. It's her life. She can do whatever she wants, and I'm happy for her. But Aita, when it comes to stuff for my wedding, she has been completely missing in action. She did not attend my bridal shower or bachelorette, and the other girls have mentioned she doesn't respond to any of the planning chats they have had. She was also supposed to attend my final dress fitting, the only bridesmaid who was, and she ended up bailing, so I went alone. I know she's busy, so I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. However, I think I am at my wit's end now. She ordered a dress with the group back in May, but when her dress arrived, she decided she did not like it. We have been trying to remind her to reorder for months, and she finally has, but now the arrival dates listed are after our wedding. I am a little frustrated, as it feels like she has just been completely disinterested in the wedding process. I know she is busy and has a lot going on, but I am feeling a total lack of care about the experience at all. I know weddings are silly in the grand scheme of things, and a dress really won't make or break the day, and shouldn't make or break our friendship. But at the same time, I am seeing it as a symbol of her disinterest. So would I be the idiot if I told her she can't be in the wedding anymore if she doesn't have her dress on time? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. I was a bridesmaid for my best friend. She had initially asked me to be maid of honor, but I denied because I didn't have that much availability. I also lived 2 hours away and worked as a paramedic with a crazy schedule. This was also November 2020, when restrictions were being lifted, but having multiple days off wasn't an option with my job. I still managed to make it to as much as I could. I went to every bridal event, every fitting I needed to be at, ordered a dress and had it tailored. Cut her out of the wedding party, but not the wedding. If the dress won't be there in time, what does she expect to happen? She has to also account for how much more pregnant she's going to be in a month. And being 2 months from her due date isn't promising, with her being too tired to actually do bridesmaid things at the wedding. She has her priorities, and that's fine. But honestly, it's shitty of her to have accepted and then been MIA. And to not answer the other bridesmaids is also shitty of her, because they have to plan around someone who may or may not show up. Comment 2. You would not be an idiot, provided you have an adult, non-confrontational conversation with her now, instead of waiting until her dress inevitably fails to arrive on time and everyone's having a meltdown. You seem like a really reasonable individual who's extended her a lot of leeway. And if she's at all reasonable, she knows she's been missing out on, well, everything. A simple, hey, it seems like you've got a lot on your plate right now. I still want to include you, but I think this event would be lower stress for both of us if you attended as a guest instead of as a member of the bridal party will suffice. Then you don't have to worry about the dress or her inability to do literally any of the things a bridesmaid does. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Being a bridesmaid does come with some responsibilities, and you don't go into it thinking otherwise, so you would be within your rights. But before jumping straight into it, maybe have a conversation about it. She may be suffering with her pregnancy. Her finances may be screwed. There could be any number of reasons why she's been MIA. This doesn't excuse her behavior, but if you were close and want to retain the friendship, then you owe one another that clarity. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.